Hey guys, welcome back to OverTakes. This is Cal.
And this is Misfit.
And we are here with our power rankings for the North American region. If you didn't listen to our last show, be sure to tune into that. We discuss a lot of the goings-on, a few news items, and then we discussed the Pacific region, or the Asian Pacific region.
Yeah.
So tune into that, take a look, get our opinions on that. And then, you can listen to however you want, I guess. Doesn't really matter. But
yeah, there's no specific order. We broke it up into two regions because it's pointless to do one whole power ranking when some of these teams aren't going to play each other possibly until the playoffs. So
exactly.
It just seemed better that way, to do it that way. And
so,
we had a little news.
Yeah, we had some news that dropped yesterday. Of course, it was like yesterday morning. We had recorded, so we're recording this Saturday morning. We had recorded Thursday evening the previous episode, and then on Friday morning there was an announcement that NYXL are signing last year's Rookie of the Year, Haxel.
So now they have both Rookies of the Year,
yeah,
in Jonak and Haxel, and.
Does it really count on the first year to be a Rookie of the Year? Because he was, I guess MVP makes him Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, I guess.
Basically, two major award winners.
Yeah.
Because you only have one MVP available.
Yeah, and what this does is, we had a whole debate with the APAC about Seoul and New York, and New York needs to do something, was kind of a point in there. And they did something.
Yeah, they did.
Picked up the best projectile DPS available.
It's an interesting. The weird thing about it is I don't know what they do. There's some rumors floating around that they're gonna trade Nene and I want to say Libero, but I don't think it's Libero.
Who Are You?
It might be in Nene and Who Are You.
Yeah, and they still have. Bianca plays off-tank, but they haven't played him at all either. Interesting to see what they do. They have a lot of projectile DPS right now. And essentially one solid hit scan in Sabiobi. And Nene's been hurt and all that kind of jazz. And I think he's still in New York, actually.
So the rumor is that it would be Libero and Nene going
I'll take
Justice.
To the Justice. The Justice is just trying to get that full NYXL Season 1 roster? Is that what we're doing?
Pretty much. Pretty much the only ones they're not going to get are going to be Meko and Jonak.
Yeah.
Mono and Jonak.
Yeah.
And Meko, I guess, because he's on Houston.
Yeah. And Sabiobi probably not. Who knows how much longer he's going to play.
Yeah, I'll be shocked if
he might.
Sabiobi plays past this year.
Yeah, he might. You never know. And
I feel like as time goes on, it becomes less and less likely that he's going to stay in the league.
Yeah,
simply just because he's been there since the beginning. He's generally, he's 5 to 6 years older than just about everybody else in the league.
Yeah, except for maybe Jae-Hong.
And that makes a huge difference in this league.
Yeah. He's still, when he's out there playing, when he plays Tracer and some of his signature heroes, he's still got it. Yeah,
yeah.
It's just if his hero pool is, in any kind of shape to be played is, neither, you don't know. I'd take Libero and Nene on my team any day of the week if I was a team that needed something, especially if you needed someone versatile like Libero.
Mm-hmm.
And you just take Nene in there for a third option. That works out perfectly for the Justice because, who do they have? They have Tuba and Stitch right now, and that's it.
Yeah.
That would be perfect for them. The thing with that is then you get into the way travel is and everything now. So if they make the trade, you got the quarantine, so that's 2 weeks. So would they even be eligible until, July?
Mm-hmm.
So, they got to do it sooner than later if they're going to do it. But I think that's an interesting move.
I'll be interested to see if it's something that happens in the next couple of days.
Yeah.
Because if it's going to happen, that's probably when it will happen.
Yeah.
I'm also just fascinated in how New York is going to balance the people that they have right now. Because if they do trade Nene, that's one less hit scan that they have.
Yeah.
So basically, you're running Sabiobi as your primary hit scan at that point.
And then you have Who Are You and Haxel, which I'm playing Haxel.
Oh,
90% of the time. I mean, there might be see, but the thing is you could do.
I don't know what you do with Who Are You, because like if you're gonna be playing Genji, you want Haxel on Genji.
Yeah, and it's not
as
like
Who Are You
is.
Yeah, as good as Who Are You is on Genji, I'm picking Haxel.
Yeah, like, he might be one of the two other guys that are better than him on Genji.
It was like for Philly in season 1 when they had EQO and
Shadowburn.
Shadowburn.
And Shadowburn was on top of his game.
EQO was just better.
Yeah. It wasn't that Shadowburn was bad. It was EQO was a tick better than him in every regard.
Exactly.
On the hero. So, I mean, you just got to play him. If I was New York, I know you want to keep Who Are You? I would have moved him, or I would move him instead of Libero. But Libero would have no place really either.
Yeah.
So it's you're going to play Haxel 90% of the time, in my estimation.
Like they also are probably regretting letting Pine go. Well, I guess Pine kind of retired on his own, mostly just because he knew he wasn't going to get much playtime.
Yeah. Well, it seemed, and he didn't get any playtime last year because, I mean, what did Hitscan get played twice for a whole season?
Yeah.
Yeah. Season 2, that's just forgettable.
Yeah.
It's like the early 2000s NBA. Yeah, we just don't want to talk about that.
Right.
It was a grind, and it was awful. But yeah, I mean, I definitely regretting Pine being gone because all of his heroes are, well, at least McCree and Soldier and some of the stuff that he plays are kind of relevant, and they could have used him, but...
And there's times where Widow is right up there, too. Like, I think they definitely could be benefiting a lot from having Pine right now.
Yeah, I mean, unless they have Who Are You grinding some hit scan. I mean, I'm sure he's decent enough on some of them.
Right.
Maybe that's what they're going with. Well, with Sabiobi, he plays this, and then Who Are You can grind the other ones, and we'll be okay. And Haxel takes care of the projectile stuff. I mean, I think that could work out. It's not going to be a bad thing to have Haxel in there all the time anyway.
Right.
Who knows with them? They could end up just playing Libero and keep him. Who knows?
Yeah.
But they definitely need the change.
Yeah, I agree. I think a pickup like Haxel, that's a no-brainer. I don't care who you have on your roster.
Yeah.
You got to go for a guy like that and then figure it out from there.
Yeah, you figure out what you do.
It's one of those situations. You see it in regular sports too, where especially like basketball, where you have a pretty stacked team in pretty much every position, or you're really solid in every position. But when you get a guy available like that, you got to get it.
Yeah. Basketball and like baseball, you see that more. You know, you might have a really good catcher, but like you said, someone comes available that's, you know, just X amount better. You figure out what to do with the other guy at some point.
Yeah.
It's just, you take the better option.
Absolutely.
Always. It's a business, and the business is winning. And if you think you're going to win better with Haxel than Libero, you do it.
100%. All right, let's move on to...
Let's talk some NA.
Yeah, talking about NA and our power rankings for them.
NA's a mess, kind of.
It really is.
And these power rankings...
We should probably start opposite way with NA.
Take care of the easy stuff first.
Yeah, because we know who's bad.
Yeah.
It's most teams.
It's easier to point out who's bad right now than who's actually good,
Yeah.
sort of good, and really good.
Yeah.
You know, there are these levels, like we said, there was a cliff from the top 3 or 4 in APAC down to the bottom 3. There are like 5 cliffs.
Yeah.
It's like a staircase with like 4 stairs on it.
Pretty much. So let's start with the very bottom. At number 13, pretty much consensus pick for us, Boston.
Yeah, we went Boston. They showed some signs of life, but
They did.
I just think on the whole, in the cesspool area, the underneath the basement stairs grouping, they just have, to me, they have less potential to climb anywhere than the other teams.
I really feel like with this team, they have 2 to 3 Overwatch League caliber players.
Yeah.
And then it kind of drops off.
Yeah.
And then some other people that are like kind of like on the fringe. Like I would definitely put at moments Fusions, but more so last year than this year.
He's not their biggest problem, but there's much to be desired.
Yeah, exactly. And then I would say
their DPS is solid.
Their DPS is solid. Jerry's pretty good. Color Hex has shown some real aptitude on Echo.
He's decent on Widow occasionally too when he has to.
Yeah, but he can take over a game on Echo, and he did. During the playoff run.
And
the one game in the playoffs that they played.
Yeah, on their playoff run. Hey, they didn't get run out of the building, which is a sign for them.
Yes, that is definitely something that they can take away from that.
Yeah, and Myeongbong is probably the other Overwatch League caliber guy. The rest of it's just kind of up in the air. Probably really good contenders players. You know, maybe top of the ladder in contenders, but just not Overwatch.
But maybe not even that, because I think there's a good amount of contenders players that I would pick over a lot of these guys.
Kaiser.
Definitely.
I'm just making a fucking t-shirt that says sign Kaiser.
Yeah.
For the love of God.
No kidding.
Especially, I mean, a team like this, you put Kaiser on there, it changes to me, it changes the outlook. He's just an all-around better tank than whatever they got.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, Axiom, he had an injury. He's been out. He's kind of come back and played a little bit.
But it seems like Punk has kind of taken over his spot. I think Punk has potential.
Yeah, Punk is good. I forgot about Punk. But,
I do think that makes a difference for them, but I don't think it's going to be enough to get them out of the hole they've already dug themselves into. And I just don't. I really only see them beating up on the bottom half of the North American ladder anyway.
And mostly surprise wins.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, they beat Toronto, like stuff like that. Or they beat Houston or something along those lines. I don't think they're... I mean, I think they could potentially beat a team like the Mayhem. Just because... Well, first off, they played them 600 times.
No kidding.
I mean, sometimes familiarity, you're gonna get one. Like,
even when... Yeah, like, you look at other sports, like, even when... Take baseball, for instance. Even when, like... the Tigers were just bottom of the barrel, hot garbage.
Oh, they would get.
There would still be one game a year where they would just trounce my team.
Yeah, and you guys were pretty high.
And like that was like early, like late '90s, early 2000s.
Yeah,
with that whole run.
Yeah,
and the Tigers were just abysmally bad. They would be. I mean, winning like 60 games bad.
Yeah, their general norm.
Yeah, there would be one game
Yeah.
out of the 15 they would play
Yeah.
where the Tigers would win.
Yeah, you're going to get one. There were times when Tampa was terrible and the Yankees were like in the late 90s, the same thing. Tampa would take a series from them, and they were losing 110 games a year.
Yeah.
Maybe not that bad, but you know what I mean. They're way below 500 on Boston's level of play, just garbage. And then, they'll sneak a win in. That's all I can see for this team, though. The other teams will move off of Boston, move up to 12, where we have Vancouver. It's a whole new roster. Oh, we all know the story and that, but I think the big thing that kept them from the bottom for us was Shockwave coming in. He was a new pickup for a new team that added a lot of life.
Yes.
I don't think they have a much more of a ceiling than finishing towards the bottom this year. Kind of the same thing with Boston. They have a lot of contenders players are kind of like, a couple of good guys that should be in the league, but the rest of it's questionable, and they're placeholders at this point.
Yeah, I think there's definitely some Overwatch League caliber talent.
I also think...
I think we'll get a better idea of where this team is at after this break, as they get some more time to play together, to scrim, and all of that. But I'm still not holding out much hope for this year. I think they've got a long way to go. Much
like Boston, I think they can sneak a couple of wins in here and there.
Mm-hmm. A pickup like Shockwave was a good pickup.
Yeah.
I do think Dalton he's
good too.
Is going to be a star. Shredlock's decent. He has moments.
Their tanks generally feed.
Yeah, he does feed a lot.
I don't know if it's probably has a lot to do with coordination and playing with these guys, and you're going in and feeling each other out. I don't know, they just fall short because they're...
I feel like most of their issues actually lie with their support line.
Yeah.
That's where I have the least confidence in this roster. Because I think KSA can be really good.
Yeah, he has moments on
the problem
Sigma
for him is he's, no matter where the Titans are playing, he's going to be on absurd ping because he's halfway across the world.
Yeah, and the best thing for this team is to get everybody in the same building.
Yes.
Sideshow was saying that, they get them all at least in the same continent.
Yeah.
On Plat Chat, and I totally agree with that. I think they have the potential to be better if they're all in the same room. And
yeah,
you're
that
not
would
playing
definitely make a huge difference.
Everybody playing on fucked up ping, and and you could communicate better in the same room.
Absolutely.
During breaks and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, you're chatting back and forth and talking back and forth, but when you're eye to eye and face to face with somebody, messages get across better. You have no choice to pay attention, but to pay attention to somebody.
For sure.
I mean, I know some people that can absolutely not do that in this world.
Yeah, same.
And I work with them.
Let's move on to number 11. Here we have the Toronto Defiant.
Most disappointing team in the league.
For sure.
Surefour is...
I wasn't expecting them to be, great.
I was expecting them to be, mid-table, at least.
Yeah, but I definitely had way higher expectations than what they're delivering at the moment.
Yeah. They've made a couple of adjustments, a couple of pickups. They picked up Numlocked, which we talked about yesterday, or in the last show. But is that enough? There are pieces on this team that Surefour is, we don't know what's going on with him.
Yeah, we don't know what's going on with him. I would say they have looked better since they picked up Cruz, and obviously we know Logix is still a beast. Kareev has moments, but he's not really been as good as he's been in the past.
Yeah. And everything
Agilities has gotten better at playing Echo, but I think they've still got a long way to go as far as coordinating with that. And
the new guy looked okay. They're just average.
Yeah.
They're
Zeke.
They're popular, yes. there's like, they have Logix, who's god tier, at Tracer and a few other heroes. Mm-hmm. Surefour is nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
Agilities is Agilities, which is, he's decent enough on heroes. Nevix is okay. Beast is okay. Mm-hmm. And their supports are underperforming.
Yeah.
And Cruz, I think, is going to help that, because I think that was their biggest hole, was main support.
Yeah, definitely.
And also his vocality on the team. They have all these cool, laid-back dudes. Mm-hmm. You need some driving force.
Yeah, and Cruz definitely brings that.
And so does Numlocked.
Yeah.
So, right now, 11, it's right where they should be at. Could they improve? Yeah, I mean, they're not going to jump way up in the standings. I could see them maybe moving up 3 at the most. Mm-hmm. Depending on schedule and all that stuff. But yeah, they're just disappointing, and I root for them. I want them to get better.
Yeah, same. I just am not holding out much hope for it to happen this year.
Yeah, they seem like they made a mistake in doing let's get the popular kids.
Yeah.
Instead of grabbing the best players they could grab. But
and not even grabbing the best players they could have. It's more a matter of building a cohesive team that can work together, because it's like they've got talent on the roster. I just don't think that they don't have any chemistry with each other, and that's really what's hurting them. And I think it's also a lack of good coaching, I think, is really hurting this team a lot.
Right now, it's just not working.
Yeah.
And I think they're trying some things. They did lose their coach, what was it, Feifei? Mm-hmm. Like about a month ago. So they were kind of just running, kind of just on their own, I guess. They just got to get some leadership going on there. And, get the ship steered in a right direction, or a direction would be great.
A direction.
Yeah.
For sure.
But yeah, I'm not holding out much hope either. I want to see them improve.
Agreed.
And
all right,
maybe get some young talent in there, and not just rely on older guys. You know what I mean? Get some up and comers.
Another team that would really benefit from picking up a guy like Kaiser.
Yeah. Instead of Numlocked, what about Kaiser? Kaiser needs to be in the league.
He really does.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to number 10. This is a team that has been pretty mediocre to bad. Yeah, pretty mediocre to bad.
Yeah,
for most of the season. They're actually pretty low in the standings. They're lower than both Toronto and Vancouver. But we're putting them ahead of those two teams simply because their ceiling just shot up quite considerably.
Yeah.
With the addition of Anu and Stitch, and the possibility of getting some of the guys from New York.
Libero and Nene.
I think would make a massive difference for this team.
Yeah. There's still the main tank issue for me. It's just okay.
Yeah.
At times, it's terrible. And also, one of the more disappointing things about this team, I mean, you could talk about Corey leaving and Stratus leaving, is Arc and Aim God are not playing up
nowhere near it
to where I expected them to be.
Yeah.
Does it have some things to do with the way the rest of the team has been playing around them and all that, and just kind of the issues with the tank line? Maybe with Janu in there on off tank and Stitch, they're going to have some more peel potential and that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But it just feels like they're falling short on so many levels. Like, even when Corey and Stratus were there, they weren't. Once they got off the stage and onto this online bit, they looked like garbage.
Yeah.
They're one of the teams, much like Atlanta, that thrives in that on-stage environment with the guys they had. And I think some of that is just playing out in a bad way right now with the rest of the team.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, one of the things Strata said was why he retired is he liked being on stage, and right now he can't. I don't know what else he could say. I want to see what this team does. They have the potential. This is a team with the guys they're picking up and potentially picking up that could jump levels. You know, they could go up into that upper half of the bracket.
Absolutely.
I think it relies a lot on Arc and Aim God. They have to step their game up. Yeah. They have to play like we know they can play. Because right now, it's one of the glaring weaknesses on this team is two of the best supports since the league's inception are not playing well. I don't know if they don't have chemistry or what, but it just...
But there's definitely an issue there.
Yeah.
And then I would also argue that Roar is continuing to disappoint.
Yeah. He's average at best.
Yeah.
Kaiser.
Yeah, again.
We want justice for Kaiser. Yeah. Yes, I said a thing. Print that up, guys. We need that on a shirt. Justice for Kaiser. All you Justice fans out there, the three of you.
Yeah.
I can say that this year because my team's good-ish.
Yeah.
They used to do me. So, the three Mayhem fans that are out there.
Yeah, buddy. All right, let's move on to number 9. We have the Houston Outlaws. Oh my God, how much time have we spent on this fucking team?
And at least we haven't had to see them for a month or two. And boy, seen one match. Well, there's just a lot of stuff. They are average. They're not bad. They have moments where they play bad. They're not bad. They're not great. I think the hydration on main tank thing is starting to work.
Yeah, I would agree.
I think it's helping them out a lot.
Mm-hmm.
There's still other issues that are, their DPS line I don't think is as good as advertised. It's serviceable. There's moments, Dante is the carry. Yes. And the rest of them are kind of so hero specific that you have to have the right pieces fall into place for those guys to do what they do, like meta-wise. Yeah,
because, I would say Blase is one of the best Doomfists in the league, but the rest of his hero pool leaves a lot to be desired, and then Linkser, I would say, is one of the best Widows, and he's a pretty decent McCree, but after that, it's a pretty steep drop-off on what he's able to carry with.
Yeah, exactly. And then you're just there. Now, there's a spot, if they don't go to the Justice, Nene and Libero, and they would play with Meko as well, who's picked up his game a lot, Meko.
Meko's getting better. I think their supports are decent. Their supports are good simply because Jexay is so good. I would put Jexay as a top 5 main support in the league. When he's out there, and for some reason there's times where he's not, which is just the most baffling thing. I don't understand, because when he's not out there, they are a trash tier team.
Yeah, and
no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
It's some of these comps where they're running double, like the Anna Zen kind of stuff, or I just put him out there. San Francisco does that with Moth.
Yeah.
Are you our best Zen option?
On Zen or Anna, I'm sure it's better than trying to force Raucous and Repel.
Yeah.
It has to be better.
You look at San Francisco with Moth. It's either best Zen option. Hell no. Violet's way better.
Yeah.
But you want him on the field, so to speak.
Exactly.
I'll take a a step down.
Standard, I guess.
A step down.
Yeah.
From mechanical skill, and have the leadership and the game sense and the call outs and all that stuff. I'd rather have a little tick down on that than have people in there that aren't on that level of Jexay on the extra stuff.
Agreed.
And maybe they're working on that now. I think a lot of, the support meta is kind of shifting into not main, not flex, where you just got to play all of it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's move on to number 8. We have the LA Valiant.
Yes. And this is a clusterfuck area.
It really is. Pretty
All
much
of these teams are interchangeable.
I would say 9 through 5, maybe even 4, as we get through those, could all be pretty interchangeable.
Yeah. Depending on who they play, even a schedule, where they fall is kind of guessing at this.
Right, and I think all of these teams could beat each other.
Like badly, or get stomped by the other one badly.
Exactly.
This area is really hard. The bottom and the top 2 and the bottom 3 are pretty much the easiest in this whole jumbled mess. But yeah, so let's talk about Valiant. I think they're exceeding expectations of us and everybody else except for Costa. Right now, they have a lot of good pieces, and the more they play, the better they get. They're one of those teams. They snuck in that win against San Francisco, but they're that team on the edge that can't quite take down the giant when it's necessary. They're just getting outclassed right now. But I think that their DPS are phenomenal.
Yeah, I really think that this is a team that is reminiscent of what we've been talking about with like London, what we've been talking about with NYXL last year, your team last year. I would probably put them right now at about the same level as the last stage of Season 2 for Florida. Yeah. Where they have a ton of potential and a lot of guys that it's actually a pretty well constructed team. I think they're just not quite ready to make that big jump. Leap. Yeah.
But
they're going to get there.
Yeah.
I really do think that.
I do too. There aren't too many people on this team where I'm like, this guy's a problem.
I think there's definitely places that they could make upgrades, but I don't think it's like super obvious as to what those upgrades are going to be. Possibly main tank. And possibly one of their supports. Probably their weaknesses. And
they're not terrible.
No, I would say those guys are definitely at least average Overwatch League players.
Yeah, they have moments where they're ungodly, and those are the games that they surprise everybody. And when those guys have like big games where they're really on their game, like the supports and their tanks tend to feed a little too much for me. But their main tank at least, but their supports, when their supports are on, they are probably a top 5 team. Yeah. It's just getting the consistency out of them for me. If they perform consistently on their support lines, they'll be towards the top.
Yeah, because I mean they have some true talent and star power on their DPS. Between KSF, KSP, and Shax, they're pretty stacked on DPS, honestly. Yeah. They have somebody that can cover any character.
Yeah, which is necessary. Especially if you get into the ban thing, like the hero ban thing, you're going to need that. So if you have one of these guys in, they can't just go immediately, all right, we're getting rid of Echo.
Right. Exactly.
That's versatility is going to be a key if they run that for sure. And I would be beating down New York's door if they want to get rid of Libero.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe not this team because they're not doing a mixed roster or anything like that, and they don't really need him. But like other teams that need that, like Houston, Washington, that right now, grab that guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so
all right. So now we've got at number 7. The Atlanta Reign. Yeah. Who I would say, honestly, has been largely disappointing this year.
Yeah. Anyone seen Erster? Erster.
Still looking for him. It's on that milk carton.
It's like it's Ferris Bueller when
Can you even say that anymore? Like, when was the last time you saw a milk carton with a missing person on it?
Well, the last time. Dog is going. The people are moving in next door, so if there's a random dog barking and loud banging, I apologize. Do they make? I don't.
I think the only place I see any like missing persons things is like the like random ad flyers we get in the mail.
Yeah, like the coupon clipper thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the shit that crowds up your mailbox.
It's about the only place I see like missing people anymore.
Do they make paper milk cartons? I'm sorry. I work in a grocery store. I should know this. I mean, I don't see them.
Yes, there are some, but they don't put missing people on them anymore.
Yeah. Well, I don't think people drink as much milk as they used to either.
That too, but I mean, for the most part, even like half gallons and pints are all in plastic now.
And if they're in cardboard, they're just... I don't
It's like a designer brand anymore if it's in a cardboard one.
Designer milk. We work at a store that specializes in stuff like that.
Yeah, I would say at least a higher quality because like Snowville, I can't talk bad about that company because they make phenomenal products.
Yeah, they do. I like the stuff in the glass bottle.
That is the
hard slur. Okay, we're getting into weird shit, guys. We're still looking for Erster in the meantime while we're doing this.
Yeah, he is still missing. No one can find him.
I don't know what's up. I would love to hear some news. If he's got an injury, he's at home, he's sick, he's done
literally
playing.
Anything.
I don't. So Atlanta on the whole is disappointing.
Yes.
I thought that would be a lot higher up. I had high expectations for them. I thought they were a top 3 team, and they're in that Gladiators realm of why are you not performing like you should, in my mind. Mm-hmm.
It's one of those things where like they show moments and flashes where they just can dominate, but then they'll turn around and get absolutely decimated by somebody else.
Yeah, like Florida.
A team that's clearly worse than them too.
Florida crushed them in the playoffs.
My god!
And I didn't expect that at all. I thought Atlanta would have 3-1 them, just because of the talent on that team. But then you, if you look at it, the way they're running their roster, Erster not playing, Edison and Baby Bay they have their moments where they're unstoppable. Right. But then they have like the rest of the team, they have their moments where they're hot garbage. Mm-hmm. You know, and Erster was the most consistent player on that team, and he's nowhere to be found. And their support line, Massa, 90% of the time is on his game. Dogman is 50-50, and Kodak's the same way.
Yeah.
They all have, when they're all on the same page, this team is unbeatable. But
that happens so little.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to knock them off of their game that it's basically a moot point.
Yeah, it feels like the tilt potential on this team is pretty high.
Yeah.
I mean, we said that going into the season, too, that they're a team that's good with all the parts, but if things start going sideways, how are they going to react?
Exactly. And so far, it's been on the bad side.
Yeah. I really would like to see them figure out the Erster thing. Mm-hmm. It has to... God, it's the only person we're talking about, but it's the best player that they have, in my opinion, and he's nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
Edison is good. I just think that they're putting way too much into him. They're kind of doing what Dallas did with Zachary last year. Mm-hmm. They're investing way too much time. And I'm not saying that Edison's bad, but if Erster's available to play, you should play him.
Absolutely.
And
all right. Yeah, I mean, there's only so much we can say about Atlanta anymore. Yeah. Let's move on to number 6. That's where we have the Dallas Fuel.
Yeah, right in the middle. I think they have the potential to go higher.
Yes, they definitely have a very high ceiling.
Yeah. A lot of these teams have the potential to go higher. I think Dallas and Atlanta won't drop any further. In my estimation, I don't think they have the potential to bottom out.
Yeah, I don't see that with this team.
Obviously, their DPS decay is insane. Doha's really good
as well. Like both of them are. I almost equate this team, especially or at least their DPS wise, to that first season London Spitfire.
Yeah.
Like Decay is filling that role of Prophet.
Yeah.
And Doha is playing like Birdring at that point.
Yeah. Playing the I'm going to take care of business when this guy doesn't go off.
Exactly.
Doha has his moments much like Birdring in the first season where he doesn't show up too. That's when they look bad. Where he has like a really bad game or something like that. Their main issues with me are their support line, which has gotten better. With Crimzo and Closer, I like that a lot better.
Yeah.
And I think the more they play together, it's gonna look and feel a lot better for this team. And I think Gamsu and Note they're not liabilities, but they're not their strength.
I would say that Note has impressed me in his evolution from becoming just a strict diva main.
Yeah.
He's really broadened his hero pool, especially from the early part of the season with some of the worst Zarya play I've ever seen.
Yeah. That was frighteningly bad.
It was so bad.
Yeah. Well, and he probably didn't get asked to play it that much before because last year you had DPS guys playing Zarya because he was on Diva, and same thing when he was in the first year. Boston pretty much ran dive.
Yeah.
So I mean, he maybe played Zarya on Lijiang Control Center.
Yeah,
and that was about it. And maybe King's Row. Mm-hmm. So he's improved. His Sigma's
I would say his Sigma is much better than it was in the past, and just overall, I would say that's one of his top heroes right now.
Yeah,
he's a very good Sigma. He's still a very good diva. That's primarily what he's playing is those two characters.
Yeah, and that's perfectly fine. I mean, you're not really getting into we're not getting into any Roadhog Zarya metas right now anyway.
I think he's been their Orisa when they run the double shield, if they do the Rhine the double shield.
Rhine Orisa.
I think they want Gamsu on Rhine for those moments. And he's got a pretty decent Orisa as well. So.
Yeah. And Gamsu is solid.
Yeah.
He's not going to wow you. He's not going to, do insane things like a Super or a Kushui or anything like that.
But he's not going to lose you a game.
Exactly. He's very calculated. He's not a feeder. He's not going to do anything super high risk, which sometimes is bad, but he's not going to lose a game for you, like you said.
He's like a quarterback. He's a game manager quarterback.
Yes. It's Trent Dilfer,
maybe even
Manning in the year the Broncos won, that kind of.
Yeah, like that, or even like Case Keenum has been over the past couple of years, like that kind of player where he has moments where he helps you.
Yeah,
but he mostly just doesn't hurt you.
Yeah, exactly. He's not doing anything egregious. He's solid enough. Yeah, I think there's potential for this team. And we were talking about it even in the beginning of the year. There's potential for this team to go pretty high.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if the cards fall the right way in some of these tournament style things they're doing, they might be in a position where they're not getting picked first. They get to actually pick something.
Right. Absolutely.
And that's a big deal.
It really is. Because
it gives you an advantage. Like Florida, they knew they were better than Atlanta and Scrims without Erster, so they picked them.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think there's a lot. All right, so the next team on the list, we have number 5. We have the LA Gladiators, who there was a big debate between us, kind of, as to where this team falls, because they're so weird right now. There are moments when they're like top 2 team, but those are kind of have gone by the wayside. Really, they're kind of really just like in the middle.
They're just kind of floundering right now. Like there's moments where they look dominant, but most of those are coming against teams that are clearly worse than them.
Yeah. And
they're not really beating good teams, and that's always been the story with this team. Is like when it comes to big games and just them playing against better teams, they've really struggled.
Yeah, that like their Space is their best player right now by leaps and bounds.
Yeah.
Oj has moments where he's on point, and then he has games where he just fucking feeds like Sado used to.
Yeah, he really does.
And he gets, I feel like he gets tilted when shit starts to go weird. Maybe he can work on some stuff. I think they have, obviously, much like Atlanta, they have the potential to be the top 3 team. Birdring, the guy that everybody thought was going to be the bad seed, the high risk reach player that they signed, seems to be one of the most consistent ones that they have.
Absolutely, yeah. I think, Birdring has probably been their most consistent under Space.
Their supports are decent.
Yeah, their supports are still decent, but I think they're not at the same level that they've been in the past. Yeah. I think teams have kind of figured out how to neutralize them.
Yeah.
And there are definitely distinct moments where Big Goose just straight up feeds.
Yeah. And, well, he did that in the past too. But, it's just... They kind of know the narrative on how to beat the Gladiators, and it's basically it involves deal with Big Goose and Shaz, and then the rest will take care of it later. Their supports are good. I think they're also getting like hunted more than normal, just to and some of that has to do with the tank line. Protecting and, some of the DPS, like Mirror's okay, but, peeling and all that kind of stuff, it just feels like there's not as much. Surefour was really good at that for them. Protecting Big Goose and Shaz. And, making hero plays when he had to. They need a little bit more of that, I think.
Absolutely. I think, there's so many frustrating things with this team where...
And it's
they
weird,
can look
frustrating.
So good at times, and then other times where they just look horrible.
Yeah,
and I just don't understand it.
And
I think it's starting to come down to like, as much as I like Deepe and I respect him, I think he's probably part of the problem.
Yeah, there's because it doesn't feel like they're bad at any specific meta.
Yeah,
like you're not going well. Like we were talking about Chengdu. They cannot run double shield. It's just awful.
I think part of it is they come in and they have this mindset of how they want to play, and when they don't get to play like that, they fall apart. Because I feel like, and it's been consistently that way pretty much since the inception of the league. Like, when they get to play their game, they're a really, really good team.
Yeah.
And you can see it. But as soon as they have to deviate from what they wanted to do,
they seem a little lost.
Exactly. And
it's like there's no plan B.
Yes.
When they go into a match, it's all right, we're going to do this. And then, well, we can't do this. What do we do now? And not, okay, so, I mean, I'm sure they have a backup plan, but it just, when you watch them, it doesn't feel like they do.
Yeah,
like, absolutely. They go into something, they're running, we're going to try and do dive. All right, it's not working. They don't have the switch to flip like some other teams do. All right, let's reset. We're going to go in like this.
Yes.
It just, I think it's one of their biggest problems. Like you were saying, I totally agree with that. I want to see some more out of them. I want to see. I want to see them at the top because I think they're a really good team. I like all their players. And I think they have the potential to be up there. I mean, they could win one of these tournaments. They could also get bounced again, before it even starts.
Exactly.
Well, maybe not that bad. I'm not going to go there.
Yeah, maybe not.
That was a little harsh.
There is that potential, though. They could be, if any team is going to be a high seed but get bounced early, I feel like it's them.
Yeah. All right.
So let's move on to number 4. We have Paris, and
this is
they will now get their full form.
Yeah.
Most likely, I think it's still pretty hazy as to the status of Eggsy.
Yeah.
But now they officially can have Sparkle play. He just turned 18. A week ago?
Yeah, a week ago. Like on the 30th.
Yeah.
May 30th, somewhere in there. And this is one of those ones we have them at 4. Some people are going to think it's pretty high, but they were playing well without the Wonder Child.
Mm-hmm.
And they were playing pretty decently in the last couple of weeks without Eggsy, which was, once they lost to Florida, after that, they seemed to, and Echo got more involved, and Nico, who is a kind of a liability, but on Echo, he's been really, really good. I'm not going to lie.
He's been fantastic on Echo.
Soon has been decent enough, but I think if they have Eggsy and they have Sparkle, with their support line now, where you have FD God and Fielder, which is proving to be in Fielder. If you get Fielder in the same room as these guys, please do that.
Yes.
They have the potential to be in the driver's seat. I think the way
absolutely.
I think they could jump. They could jump Florida. They could. They could give Philly a run. San Francisco's a tough beast right now. I'm kind of revealing what our top 3 is. You guys can.
I think they can really give San Francisco a run for their money. Though.
I think they will. They will definitely, if they got into a playoff match against them, it would be a must. I mean, most of these tournament things are must watch, but like in the actual playoffs for the grand finals and all that, if they played San Francisco with their full form, and San Francisco does what they do, till then that's going to be one of the better matches I think we'll see.
Absolutely, I think this team has a pretty high floor, but their ceiling is just shot up considerably once they're at full strength. Once we know the status of Eggsy, and he can come back, which I imagine after this break and the time that he's already taken off, I'll be surprised if he's not back in some form for them. Yeah,
because he had like a wrist or hand or arm injury or something like that. I don't know exactly what it was, but it's been about 8 weeks since we've seen him.
Which is usually the relative time frame for something like that.
Yeah, some sort of injury like that. I mean, we'll see. I want to see it because I think they're a team that came out of the blue early. I mean, everyone kind of was doing they're just placeholding until Sparkle gets there, and they proved that they didn't need Sparkle to go 7-5. So they're in a much better position than I thought they were going to be in to begin with before Sparkle got there.
Absolutely.
They picked up players I didn't think were going to, explode onto the scene like their support line. Yeah. That's the biggest upgrade, really, other than, you could talk about Eggsy and all that, but the biggest difference has been FD God and Fielder.
Yeah, for sure.
Nobody dies. Teams tend to look better.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to number 3. We got your boys.
Yes, number 3.
Florida Mayhem.
It's a reluctant 3 for me. I'll say why. I think they're on the same level of a lot of these teams, but they just proved to be a little bit better in the last tournament.
Yeah.
But I think one of the things that's underrated about them, and I think people are starting to come around, is Kooky as a coach. Yeah. And that stuff, we always say it matters. It matters more and more. If you look at the teams in the top 5, they pretty much have the best coaches in the league.
Absolutely.
Even on the other side, you got Moon coaching Shanghai. They're the best team, one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah.
But the the Mayhem, I mean, I can't really say anything bad other than Chris, who's, he doesn't, like, if they have hero bans, just ban Brig. Because that puts him on Lucio, and his Lucio's subpar. On Brig, he's great. Or at least above average. I think the rest of the team, they have a really good, their tank rotation has been good. Gargoyle is in there all the time. They seem to have Fate in there all the time now, too. And
but the occasional moments where you have Karayan, I think they make that work. Their tank rotation, I would say, is very good. I would say your DPS, he's a god.
Yeah, and BQB's better than I thought he was going to be.
Yeah, it is pretty. I would say he is definitely above average.
Yeah,
too good.
Yep, and right now they don't have Saya, so look for them to maybe pick up a DPS player out there, because they just have, they just have those two guys, I think, right now.
Yeah. And I would say on their support line, the liability you get with Chris, some of that is made up for with the fantastic play of Gangnam Jin.
Yeah.
Gangnam Jin is a beast.
Yeah, he's really good. Anna is his signature hero, but he does decent enough on Zen when you need him to.
Absolutely.
I don't think they don't even need to play like Byram or some of those guys. I think they throw them in there just to give them a little time to see what they have. But they're starting 6, and they kind of have a solid 6, which I'm enjoying.
Yeah, absolutely.
A solid, solid is the key word, because they've had teams where they've had 6 guys that were just a little bit better trash than the guys on the bench.
Right.
So
I think, I mean, I understand your reluctance to.
I just think other teams are on the same
your praise, but at the same time, I think the coaching has really been the difference for this team.
Yeah.
Because they have talent. There is no doubt that they have the talent, but I think what they've always been lacking is a proper power structure and leadership from their coaching staff. And I think that's something they finally have, and it's showing very much so now.
And if you look at the team at the bottom, Boston has their old coach.
Yeah.
No, I know I harp on that dude. I think he's very smart. He's a Wade Phillips kind of guy. Where he controlling the whole thing maybe is not his thing. If he's like is an analyst or something like that, or strategist, I think he would be better suited for that. Because he has a good mind. But Kuki has proved. I mean, he coached Runaway last year. I think it was in the last Korean contenders from last year. He was their coach, but I didn't see that coming. In fact, when he was coaching over there, I thought he was still playing.
Yeah, I did too for a bit.
Yeah, I mean, he's done such a good job with this team. I know there's reluctance, but it's just the old Mayhem fan in me going, all right, when's that shoe gonna drop? You know, I mean,
believe me, I know that feeling all too well.
Yeah, and there were points like before this run they had where I was like, where the fuck is Saya player? They're terrible. I think they were just learning how Kuki operates. It just took a while, and I was being not impatient, but like just doing it's the same old shit.
Yeah.
When it was just them learning. And I'm looking forward to this next, the end of the year. I want to see this. Maybe I'm just delirious because my team actually fucking did something. And it's hard to grasp.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to our number 2 pick. We have the Philadelphia Fusion.
Yep, solid number 2.
Yeah.
There's also, even though Florida beat them, there's a cliff from them down to the Florida's, Gladiators, Dallas, Atlanta. There's a significant drop. I think Florida just got them. And then that one match, I think
they definitely had them, but at the same time, I mean, your guys played well.
Yeah,
so
I think if they played 10 times, Florida would probably win 4.
I could see that.
I just think they're better.
Yeah,
right now.
But yeah, Philly is just their roster. Just looking at it is so stacked.
Yeah.
I mean, you have Poco playing out of his mind, which is putting Fury on the bench, who can also play out of his mind.
Yeah, and they've been kind of flipping them in and out,
swapping them in and out, and it's actually been working pretty well, which is usually does not go as well as it has for them.
Yeah,
with Sato is still Sato, but at the same time, now he's getting the proper resources to play his like hyper aggressive style.
Yeah, in other words, their support line are gods.
Yes, and that's really been the biggest upgrade. We've been saying it all season. We knew Funny Asher was pretty good, but I don't think anybody saw Alarm being as god tier as he is. And then when you put them together, just the chemistry and ability that these two guys have is unparalleled.
Yeah, and
I would probably put them as the best support duo in the league at this point.
Yeah, if there's another one that's better, name it. I will refute it.
Yeah, I can't even put San Francisco's above it.
No, I think
they work best when they actually swap out some of their guys.
Yeah, but these two guys are just they're keeping the tank line alive, which didn't happen last year. And then you have Carpe being able to do Carpe things. That's the frightening.
Yeah,
I don't think it even matters who you have on the other DPS, as long as Carpe can play something he's comfortable on, you're going to win most of the times. And then the moments where you have EQO playing Echo and he pops off, or,
gotten some really fantastic performances from Hisu.
Yeah.
Ivy is a phenomenal Mei when they have to play that.
Yeah.
Even the times when Chipsa has come in, he's played very well.
More Chipsa.
So, yeah, I mean, like this team, they finally built a proper roster around Carpe, basically, and they're reaping the benefits of it.
Yeah, they are. And it just, watching Carpe be able to do what he does is one of the best things to watch in like a competitive really watch. That was one of the things like last year, I think, where the strategy and all the whatnot and goats. But watching guys like Carpe just take over, or like Fleta or Prophet, or even like Yaki did in the playoffs, he didn't get that. But watching Carpe do his thing is magic.
It really is.
I'm frightened every time my team plays him, because you don't know when he's going to go off. And then when he does, he doesn't stop.
Right.
It's not like, okay, yeah, I just got a 4-kill and won that fight. Then he just goes and just destroys your team for the other maps, too.
Yeah.
As long as that support line stays where it's at, I honestly don't think you could put fucking Roshan in that tank line and all the other guys from Shanghai in season 1, and they would have been fine. Because those guys are because I never thought Sato was terrible. No. You give him the resources, he's above everything. He still feeds, but he doesn't die now.
Yeah.
That's the scary thing. But yeah, they're number 2. Obviously.
And let's move on to number 1. The team everyone saw coming.
Yeah.
San Francisco Shock.
Yeah.
Even though they are actually 3rd in the overall standings.
Yeah. But when you put the money on the table, these boys go get it.
They show up.
I don't know if we really have to talk about this team that much. I mean, they've moved players too.
Yeah.
And lest we forget, they got Twilight coming in it.
Yeah. I mean, and that's nothing against Violet, but now they have Twilight. Like, holy God. And, like, what do you even do against this?
Yeah. And I don't think you take Moth out at this point, though. That's the guy that, from season 1 when he first came in to now, has grown exponentially as a player and a leader on this team.
Absolutely.
He's kind of the glue, because they got they got nutter potential on that team with Super and Rascal and a couple of those other guys that could Choi. They could lose their shit real fast. He seems to keep it together for them.
Oh yeah, Choi Hyobin's not that kind of guy. He's their glue. Yeah, that's 100%. Yeah.
They just have so many guys in so many positions on this team that will win. And then you had the best coach in the league that has empowered them to be able to adapt.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they go...
And having the balls to make a move like putting Moth on Zen while you've got Violet playing Anna or Bap.
Or Bap, or they had Rascal doing that for a little bit, but now he's like, and then you got that guy who, anytime something new comes out,
you pull out. Yeah, you've got that guy who's just. I mean, his versatility is unparalleled in the league. I don't think there's anybody. We used to say Prophet, but now that Prophet has had the struggles with
Echo,
with playing Echo, I think Rascal really is the most versatile.
High level player in the league. I would go with Libero can play anything. He's a jack of all trades,
master of none, whereas Rascal is the jack of all trades, master of everything.
Yeah. He teaches everybody how to play the hero right now. That's just he taught everyone how to play Bat. He's teaching everyone how to play Echo.
He's one of those guys where he just looks at a kit and he's just like, okay, I see how this works, and just knows it instantly. Yeah,
and he finds all the tech. You know what I mean? He finds the little tech things you can do with the jump boots with BAP. How to do the things with Echo with the sequence that you're going to go into a fight with her and the flying and all the stuff. He's just amazing, and he's an amazing part of 8 guys, and then you got guys like Stryker that just any given moment could go in there and just wreck people. There's a guy that could potentially move too. I mean, you don't know.
Yeah,
I'd love to see him on any team.
Yeah,
I mean, then Smurf is actually there's a guy that we could talk about that is playing better than I thought he was going to play.
Absolutely,
I didn't think he was bad by any stretch. But
his Orisa is nasty.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't have to play Super all the time.
Right.
I mean...
And when you have the versatility of your main tanks like that, basically between Super and Smurf, they can cover all of the main tanks to a level that is really high.
Yeah.
And then you have the versatility of a guy like Shohyobin on top of that. It just makes them even better.
Yeah, you don't have to have someone that's a specialist on any kind of off tank with him,
because he's literally a specialist on all of them.
Yeah, he can play every off tank at a high level.
Yeah,
it's absurd. But they also buck the trend with the flopping your main tank in and out, and it's seamless. Yeah, that's the fright. Really usually you get a little drop. I don't see it.
No,
that's the fright. It's coaching. It's crusty. All right, guys. So that is our power ranking for the North American region, area, grouping, whatever we're calling it right now, division.
Yeah.
Who the fuck knows? The teams that are playing from NA. But that's going to do it for this one. We're going to hit you guys with some stuff once we get news, probably midweek. So we're going to hit you mid late in the week with a preview of what potentially we got for a schedule. Pick show's kind of up in the air depending on the format, because it gets really hard to do the pick show thing. We love doing it, and we want to continue doing it, but it's just if they're running right into a tournament, we could pick 1 or 2 games, and that's about it. I don't think they're going to. I think they're going to seed it like before. But just keep an eye out for more stuff towards the end of the week. We're kind of loading this week up just because last week there was a lot we talked about it there's a lot more important things going on than us yammering about Overwatch League. So we wanted to give time for that manifest itself and people do what they need to do before we came back on and had to have some fun. Sometimes you have to take time out from fun.
Yeah.
But that's going to do it. We will see you guys throughout the week. Take a look at us on Twitter and whatnot, see what's up. Everybody out there on YouTube, thank you very much for watching, giving us likes, all the views, comments. Please keep them up. Everybody in podcast land, thank you very much. And we will see you on the next one.
Catch you guys on the next one. Later.